Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to our virtual classroom. Today, we're going to be going over the worksheet that I assigned, which is precisely this one. It is found on third 9 weeks work, and it is the area and perimeter of parallelogram practice. There is a submission for this. There's also a submission for this on Schoology, so make sure that you do make use of that. So if you go to Schoology, you go to today's folder. If you go to today's folder, you will see on the second puzzle piece, area and perimeter of a parallelogram. That's where you will submit this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we even begin, I do want to make note of how these are numbered. If you notice, they're not really numbered on your own copy of it. So what I need you to do is number them. We're going to number them going from left to right. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Please number them exactly like I did. Otherwise, when you submit them on Schoology, the numbers are just not going to match. So make sure that you do number them correctly. All right, so as we begin, we're going to be talking about perimeter and area of a parallelogram. And if you look at all these shapes, these are all the same shape. They are a special parallelogram known as a rectangle. And I'm sure that you guys are familiar with rectangles. This should just be a review, but if it's not, it's okay. All right, so let's talk about perimeter. Perimeter. All right. The perimeter of any geometric shape is the outside of the shape. It is the outside of the shape. And so that might be, just the outside. So think of the fence or taking a string and wrapping it all the way around. So in essence, it's the distance on the outside of a shape. So looking here at number 1, remember, this is a rectangle. It is a form of a parallelogram. So we know that opposite sides are going to be the same length. So if this face up here is 4, and let me make this just a little bit bigger. If this face is 4, then this bottom face will also be 4. If this face here is 5, then this face opposite of it will also be 5. And so to get the perimeter, ladies and gentlemen, all I have to do is add all of these together. It doesn't matter the order, just add them together. 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5, right? So 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 5 is 13, plus 5 is 18. So the perimeter is going to be 18 units. And units just because it doesn't give us any units, so I'm just going to put units. Your answer would be 18. So again, perimeter is just the outside. All right. In fact, if we look at number 2, which we're not done with number 1, but if we look at number 2, we would follow the same process. So this would be 4, this would be 9, and we would just add them all together. 9 plus 9 is equal to 18. 4 plus 4 is equal to 8, and 8 plus 18 would give us 26 units. So that's perimeter. But what about area? Area, ladies and gentlemen, is the inside. It's how many square units fit inside something. All right, so it's the inside. If this was a soccer field, then the outside lines would be the perimeter. The grass inside would be the area. All right, so how do I find area? Now, most of you guys remember from elementary school that area was given to you as length. Now, in middle school, it's the exact same thing, except that instead of saying length times width, we're going to say base times height. Base times height. In other words, how wide something is times how high it goes. So obviously, it doesn't matter where I measure it from, whether it be in the top or in the bottom or in the middle. From here to here, it's going to be 4 units. So that would be my area is going to equal to 4. That's my base. Times the height, which again, it doesn't matter where you measure from here to here, it's going to be 5. 4 times 5. Therefore, my area is going to equal to 4 times 5, which is 20. So my area would be 20. Notice how I showed my work. I began with the formula. I substituted the units that I knew. So I knew what the base was, I knew what the height was, and really it doesn't matter which you use as base and which as a height, you're still going to be multiplying those two. And then I just solved it. My area is 20 units. Please, please, please don't say, oh, it's 4 times 5 times 4 times 5. No. Or don't say, oh, it's 8 times 10. No. It is only 4 units wide. If you were measuring with a ruler, you would say, oh, this is 4 units wide and it's 5 units high. So it's just 4 times 5. That is the area. If we look at the area for number 2, notice that our base, so our area for number 2 is going to be, again, base times height. So our area is going to equal to the base, which is 4 units, times our height, which is 9 units. So my area is going to be 36 units. 36 units. Awesome. Now, the only challenge here is really the fact that you're going to have some decimals. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not remember how to multiply with decimals, you have to review that. Okay, you have to review that. Okay, I will do one of these harder ones, so I'll do number 8 with y'all. But if you really are confused about it, I do encourage you to go to Schoology, go to the green resources folder, and notice how there is a folder here that says multiplying decimals, and you will find some videos there, or a video there that will show you how to multiply decimals. And there's one that says adding and subtracting decimals, again, how to add decimals. Because in this problems that have decimals, if you're not doing it, you're going to get it wrong if you don't line it up correctly. All right, so again, the perimeter, we're going to add everything else up. So if this is 6.46, this is also going to be 6 46/100ths. If this is 7 8/10, then this is going to be 7 8/10 also. So you have to add all of these up like I'm doing here on the side. So 6.46. Notice I'm lining up the decimals because I am adding. 7.8, and there's nothing in the hundreds. 6.46, 7.8. I'm just going to add everything together. So 6 plus 6 is 12. 8 plus 8 is 16. Plus 4 is 20. Plus 4 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. Let me just double check that. You can also do 12 plus 12 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. Very good. Because we're adding, we just bring down the decimal. With multiplication, it is very different. And then now we just add these together. So that's 13 plus 13, that's 26, plus 2 is 28. So I got, my perimeter is 28 and 52 hundredths. All right, now let's do the area. Again, we're going to do base times height. Notice how I have base, which is, I put it at 6.46, 6 46/100ths, times the height, which is 7.8. Now, yes, technically, ladies and gentlemen, let me write this again. Technically, 7.8 is the larger number, but when we multiply, we put the number with the most digits on top, and I'm not going to line up the decimal. I'm going to worry about the decimal afterwards. So the 8 is under the 6, and the 7 is under the 4. So let's go ahead and multiply. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 4 is 36. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 3 is 51, I believe. So that's up 48. Yeah, 51. So I am done with these, and I'm done with the 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 0 under this column because I am done with it. I'm going to move on with the 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 4 is 32. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 3 is 45. Add everything together now. 8, 8, 3, 10. 4 plus 1 is 5. Now, the decimal will go depending on how many decimal places we have. How many numbers are behind the decimal? So I have 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3. So unless I did my math wrong, which I don't think I did, feel free to check your math with a calculator after you show your work, which is fine. So 6.46 times 7.8, and it is correct. I got an answer of 50 and 388 thousandths. All right, and that's pretty much how you do these problems, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the last two, even though they're bonus, meaning they're not for a grade, I do want to show you something. Notice how they want us to find the perimeter and they want us to find the length of X right here. Okay, How am I going to do that? Well, they give us the area. So let's begin with the area equation. We know that area is going to equal to whatever the base is times whatever the height width is. It doesn't matter what you use as your base. I'm going to use 5.2 as my base, and x is going to be my height. All right, so we don't know what our height is. So all I'm going to do is substitute things in. So I know what my area is. So instead of an A, I'm going to write 51 and 22/100. All right. Instead of my base, I know that my base is 5.2. And my height is x. I don't know what that is. All right. Wait, isn't this an equation, ladies and gentlemen? Do we not know how to solve equations? What is our goal? What is our goal whenever we're solving equations? Well, our goal is always to isolate the variable, to get the variable all by itself. So the opposite of multiplying x by 5.2 is to divide x by 5.2. That cancels it. But whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So I must divide the other side by 5.2. And that'll give me the value of x. If you do not remember how to divide with decimals on the divisor on the outside, again, we do have videos dividing decimals. In fact, there's like 3 videos on how to divide with decimals. So I do encourage you to check that out. Going back to the assignment, I'm going to do 51 and 22/100 divided by 5.2. Now, obviously, I do not like decimals on the divisor on the outside, so I'm going to move it in to make it a 52. But whatever I do in the outside, I must do on the inside as well. I move it over only once, so now it's 512 and 2/10. All right, and from then you would just go ahead and solve this, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're having issues with that one, I do encourage you to rewind it and watch that part again, and you will do the same thing in number 12. Don't worry too much about these right now. We are going to do more like that later. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you next time in class, in our virtual classroom.